later today. Shelter should be pretty good. We get some firewood going up. See, they look just like little tiny apples. And early, they're awesome. Got spooked by a grouse pretty good. And I like the stool in here, but I found a nice rock by the fire.
If you can't take care of yourself, you can't help others. Survivalbytraining.com.
So as promised, we're going to do some bushcrafting today. Fishing this morning was pretty good. You see, got me another fish. Yeah. So rather than bake it today, I'm going to build a smoke shelf for inside my shelter. I thought about building a smoker outside of my shelter. Well, I mean, I got to have 2 fires going, and there's a lot of sphagnum and peat moss around here, and I really don't want to take the chance of lighting something up. So I'm actually going to build a lean-to style smoke rack that's going to go inside of my shelter. Had to have fire anyway, so that's what we're going to do. Baked fish is okay, but I don't have any real way to preserve it, so it means I have to eat the entire fish. And one fish like this will do me for 2 days. So I've got half a fish from yesterday in there, and this one will do me for tomorrow and probably the next day. It just depends. Depends on how hungry I get, how much energy I need. Anyways, so we're gonna build us a smoking rack. Awesome. Okay, so as promised, we've got our, right here, I got my fish smoker. We're going to bank the fire with green wood to produce a lot of smoke, and then we're just going to cover in the sides with the tops of the spruce trees. Just keep the smoke in there. So we're not putting in huge pieces of wood, just in case it does happen to light up. It shouldn't because it's green. So I've got one tiny little flame in there, and all the rest is a bed of coals. So we're going to use the green wood to produce smoke and to bank the fire at the same time. Awesome. Basically going to give you a few minutes of how the smoker runs. You can see it's just smoking up a storm. You can see a fire underneath. That's the logs that I put the aspen on. They're burning up, but the aspen is just sizzling away and they're smoking up the storm. Okay, awesome. I think we'll go another 5 or 10 minutes maybe, and then flip them over and get them smoking the other side, and then we'll roast them in good. Fin chips are almost ready. So here we have pine sap. I just picked a bunch, or just pulled a bunch off a tree. Look how sticky that stuff is. This is good for all sorts of stuff. Good for lighting fires, good for fixing cuts, good for making glue, for holding stuff together. I've got a hole in my boot. I think I'm going to see if I can fix it later on today. So there's one ball. You can see there's another ball here. I don't want to be overly greedy, but I think I'm going to take this one here. Looks to me like this is all fat wood. So what fat wood is it's wood that's saturated with pine sap. So we'll find out here in a second. And no, that's not fat wood. Okay, had to check. How sticky that is. I'm just going to keep bumping it and peeling it a little bit until we can get her off the tree. Then we'll roll her up in a ball and save her for later. Look at that. Look at that beautiful piece. In behind that's probably fat wood. I'm going to take that piece too. A bit of bark and get rid of those pieces. Get rid of the pieces that have the majority of bark in it. But yeah, that's beautiful. And just roll that up. Like I say, good for fires, good for medicinal work. Right there. Two of them. Lasts a long time. I want to see if I cut. Popped open again there. That was my own stupidity. I used it on the tip of my knife earlier. But it's okay, we'll get her stuck together. I'm gonna take that little piece there and chew it. Like that soft bit. Good and soft. It's just nature's band-aid there. So that's what we're gonna do. That'll be my band-aid for today. Yeah. Still pretty sticky, so I'll take some of this moss here. Just put a powder on top. This does have medicinal value too, but not very much. So I just want to dry the sap off a little bit. Make sure she's stuck in there. Like that. There's my band-aid. Should work for a while. Alright. Now, I'm going to try fishing. Hopefully we can get one. So if you recall, earlier on I showed you how to light a fire with a flint and steel. Today I'm going to show you what I use for my charred cloth. I know there's a couple different things I can use. Today I'm going to show you how to do a little bit. So yeah, so give me a couple minutes. I'll show you how to use the tin, how to make charred cloth. Yes, as you recall, this here's my fire kit. These are my little cotton balls, etc. Notice everything is in a tin container. So tin container is very important. It has a little hole punch in the top. You can see this one's the same. This one's a little bit different. This one is a twist. So I've got a bunch of cotton balls in there, stuffed right full as they can get it. Got my fire going. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to stick this in the fire, someplace where I can get at her. Just put it right there, like that. And then in a few minutes it's going to start smoking, and then there'll be a flame. And once the flame comes up, once the flame dies down, we'll give it a couple extra minutes, and it's going to be making charred cloth for us, or charred cotton balls. Okay. You need the same thing with your t-shirt. That's why I wear a cotton t-shirt, so that if I run out of charred cloth, then I can cut strips out of my t-shirt and use it then to make my charred material for lighting with the flint and steel. Okay. I can see my box is already catching on fire there. It's super hot. So you don't want to absolutely bury it, but you want to put it in a really hot spot in the fire. You can hear it tinking and continuing on there and fooling around. There should be any time now there'll be a flame come out the top. Once the flame comes out of the top, like I say, it'll burn for a little bit. Should be some smoke first, then the flame, and then it'll burn for a little bit, and then that'll be that. Give it about 3 minutes after the flame stops, and then away we go. I see. So I know some of you have heard probably that the inner pine bark can be eaten. It's not the best for you, but what we're going to do is I'm going to scrape some of this off and then see if we can get to some of the inner bark, and I'll show you how to process it. I think these are jack pines. I haven't experienced this kind of bark before. Pretty cool bark, all I gotta say. Pretty thick. Okay, now we're getting what we want here. Okay. Here's kind of what we're after. It's not going to work very good, is it? Yeah, well, just a little bit. I'll just put those in my pocket so you can get a little bit more here. I think there's one guy in a TV show that ate this religiously, didn't bother doing anything with it, which you should have. Anyways, you get the idea. I'm going to pick some more here, and then once we get back to camp, we'll show you what we're going to do. Okay, so today we fished a little bit. The wind's really strong, so of course fish aren't anywhere near the surface or biting. I did have one on, but it got away, of course. Took a shot at 2 grouse today. Missed, but I had the chest mount camera on and have to adjust on how to shoot for that. So I think next time I'll use the head mount so you can see a point-on view of what I'm doing. We talked earlier, I took some inner pine bark and I was going to show you how to process it. So basically what I did is I stripped it into small thin strips, like that. Roasted it by the fire to dry it out. And then now I'm just breaking up. I'm going to crush it into a powder and then we'll make a kind of a gruel oatmeal type thing out of it. Okay. Other than that, weather's getting down cold again tonight, so we'll bundle right in. I've got the sides of the lean-to double reinforced for the air, so the air can't flow through. Took some spruce boughs and spruce tops and stuck them in the holes. Same thing up on my roof. I filled that in too, so it's a little bit smoky in here right now, but hopefully the little bit of wind that comes through is going to push the smoke out through the chimney. Yeah, other than that, tomorrow we're going to get busy and pick some cranberries and some wintergreen. Check the bear bait again. Hopefully we'll see something in there, and hopefully we'll shoot a grouse tomorrow. All right, awesome. Okay, this is our final day here. I just thought what I'd do is give you guys a little bit of a rundown of what we've accomplished, what we've done, what we've made, that kind of thing. I didn't make a lot because I spent a lot of time hunting, a lot of time foraging, a lot of time just scouting the area. I've been here for 8 days, going on 9 days, and I just want you to know that it takes at least 3 full days to scout any area that you're going to hunt. You need to know the ins and outs of it and know where to go, where not to go, where the critters are moving, looking for sign, all that kind of stuff. So, yeah. So a lot of time I spent doing that. Foraging along the way. I got out into the bog, which is across the way here there yesterday to pick some cranberries. I may go back again tonight. I don't know. Depends on how much I get done. I've got fish smoking right now on the smoker. Actually, roasted by the fire now. Okay. So what we did is I'll give you a couple things. Now they're going to sound kind of trivial, okay? But I don't carry a fork and spoon with me into the bush, just extra unnecessary weight that I do not need. So I made a fire pokey stick, or for stirring my tea in the morning, or stirring hot water to make sure it boils consistently. So that's one, just a piece of willow. I took the bark off it. I took the inner bark off for something I'll mention here in a couple minutes. My youngest daughter loves to use chopsticks, and one of my favorite tools in the bush is a set of chopsticks. You don't need a fork. They'll do everything that you need them to do, and forks are just, like I say, unnecessary stuff to bring with you. So I made a set of chopsticks. I don't bring a spoon. So what I did do is I made a spoon paddle, or a paddle spoon. Just like that. So last night we made gruel out of the inner bark of a pine tree. We heated it up, roasted it, tore it into strips first, very fine strips. Roasted it, then ground it down so it's a little bit finer than oatmeal. Put it in the water. Used a half a cup of water, boiled it right down so it's almost a paste. It doesn't taste very good, but there's a little bit of calories and a little bit of sugar in there for you. So I wouldn't recommend just tearing the inner bark off and eating it from the tree. If you're like got really loose bowels, okay, maybe, because it is going to tighten you up something bad. Okay. I said I took the inner bark of the willow off. Reason for that was I had a friend ask me if I'd make him a pipe. So I made a pipe. I'll show you up nice and close, right there, right there. So I made him a pipe. It's even got a little pipe cleaner in it, like that. Picking out your tobacco or whatever you're going to smoke with it. Hopefully tobacco, maybe kinnikinnick, which is natural tobacco. Inner willow bark works really good for relieving headaches and nausea. Inner dogwood bark is really good if you're having a hard time sleeping. It'll put you to sleep for sure. Not psychedelic or nothing like that. But anyways, that's another thing that I made. My buddy should try it out and see if it works. I'm not a smoker. I tried it out and it does work very, very well. I won't demonstrate that for you. Just take my word for it. Important stuff. Here we go. This is the last thing I made. Was a fish smoker. That's my smoke rack. As you can see, I lashed the outside frame together, one down the middle. The reason for that is, that one got hot, is I want to be able to bow them over top and cross stitch them. One goes one way, one goes the other way. So when I put my fish on there, I can stick them in between and tighten them up so they won't fall apart. So that is a project that took a whole, I think, 20 minutes. Okay, and that is good for the rest of the time that I'm here, or any time that I will be here. So that's fish smoker, very important. Okay. Other than that, of course, we made the shelter. You can see in the background. Maybe you can't, but you can. So what I'll do is I'll give you a tour of the shelter and see how that goes. Okay, so we're gonna walk into the shelter. I'm gonna show you. Here's my doorway. This is my door, just two tops of the fir trees. Inside of here, we've got my little rock wall for containing the heat and making the smoke go straight up the chimney, as you can see it does. I put a bunch of, I only put up 3 ridge poles. It probably should have been 7 or 8 of them, or 3 poles should have been 7 or 8 of them. And then there, I cut the tree off because it was way too high. Ridge pole across the top. You can see that I bowed the top in and I bowed that side in. That's where I feed all my logs. Logs for the fire come in from that side into the fire each night. I put the boughs in there because it got really super windy the one day. You can see I've got everything kind of put in its own little place. Over here is where I put my wood for the morning to get the fire started. I used it all up getting this one going. Okay, and then you can see our lovely fish and our cup of water pretending to boil. Okay. Anyways, that's the shelter. Walk outside here. Beautiful little area. Outside fire pit right there. And just absolutely gorgeous. So this is my firewood I'm using tonight. I've got 4 logs and a couple of small ones. It's supposed to get down to about +2-ish tonight. So 4 or 5 would be plenty enough to do the night. I usually wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning, so if I need firewood, I'll go out and get it then. But, walk up to the beach here. Call this the beach. Right there. Isn't that just absolutely breathtaking? This is what it's like here on the Canadian Shield.